Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Girl Get Up podcast. And this is the podcast where I, your host, the Aquarian Chancellor, I share my stories. I invite my guests on. They share their stories, all in hopes that it inspires you, the listening audience, to go out and discover your infinite possibilities. I have a guest, Naweh. Please share with the audience who you are and what you do.
Hello, my name is Naweh. I am a singer, songwriter, and actress. Um, I'm also me and C talked about this. I'm from the DMV area, born and raised, born in DC, raised mostly in Montgomery, lived in PG till I was 8. So been all around the DMV area.
You are
So
a
that's a little bit
singer.
about me.
You write music as well, and you are also an actress. Growing up in the DMV, I know there was like a couple of schools, you know what I mean, that was geared toward the creative. But could you share your journey into the career field?
Growing up, I'm Liberian American, so I've always been around music. Like you go to Afro beats now is popular, but growing up, like this is what I've known. You know what I mean? So at the African parties growing up, I've been around music, dancing. My mom was a part of the choir at church. She likes to sing as well. My dad loves music, so he would always have music in the house all the time. He would just play it loud on the speakers, and we'd be listening to it. So it's just in me. I was in the church choir growing up. I also was in show choir in high school. I don't know if people know what show choir is, but it's very Broadway-esque.
Okay.
Very jazz fingers. You're singing and dancing at the same time. And that's really been my foundation of singing at church. And
that's where you develop that love for music. So once you graduated from high school, what was that thing, that inspiration in you to say, okay, I'm going to pursue music as a career field?
So here's the funny part. I went to college. I went to Towson, and
Okay,
Towson, and I actually studied sociology.
Okay.
Because if you know about a lot of West Africans, it's that thing of music isn't really a career.
You know okay, so you know who Toby and I'm sorry, in Naweh?
Yes.
I'm pronouncing that wrong, please forgive me. But I just looked at a clip that he did where he was telling his mom that he wanted to pursue music as a career. And it didn't go over so well. Yeah.
It's like you got to be a doctor and a musician. Like they're okay with you singing, but it's like you got to be a doctor and a musician. You got to be an accountant and a musician, but you got to be something else. So for me, I didn't really admit to people that I really wanted to sing. People just saw me always singing. And it wasn't until like in college, my friend Yemisi, who's Nigerian, we're having a conversation and I was like, oh, I really want to sing. I'm thinking I'm telling this big secret. I'm like, oh, I really want to sing. And she was like, no, everybody already knows that. Like this is not a secret. Like we can tell that's what you want to do. Right. So I had to really get over that hump of almost like being a little embarrassed about the fact that that's what I wanted to do. It's a strange feeling. Like you have to kind of get over the fact that this is not a bad thing, that that's what you actually want to do for your career, because you come from a culture where that they don't mind you singing. Let me say that again. It's just not a career.
So let me ask you this. So and I'm just, visualizing, and as you're graduating, you know what I mean? Because that whole hustle and bustle, got to send out applications and all of that, and knowing in your heart that you really want to sing, but you have this cultural expectation. You know what I mean? How did you
I went to
undergrad,
and then I really wanted to sing afterwards. And there were people, like I have my amazing mentor, Samantha, who's Liberian as well. who were like, oh, you should go sing this and that. But I decided instead to go straight from undergrad to grad school because instead of me saying like, you know what, let's go sing, I was just like, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. So I went directly into grad school from undergrad. And I remember being in grad school, and grad school is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hard. And I remember I didn't have enough time or a lot of time to really sing during those 2 years. And so it made me kind of like a little sad because if God put something in you and you're not doing it,
Yeah,
you know?
it's gonna eat away at you.
So I remember this is when I got over the hump. And thankfully, I'm so blessed that I have a best friend who also sings too. She's Dominican and had the same situation with her, like same journey a little bit. And so I remember talking to my oldest brother, who's he's like 10, 11 years older than me. So this is like my big brother. And I'm talking to him. And he was like, oh, I'm really proud of you. I was about to graduate. And I said, yeah, but I still don't get to do what it is that I want to do. And he stopped me. He said, Naweh, newsflash, you're an adult. You can do whatever you want to do. And that, for some reason, it clicked in me. And when I graduated, I just went full force into music.
Really?
My brother who
So
put
we
that in
talked
me.
about your name a little bit, and I thought it was beautiful. Could you share what Naweh means?
So Naweh comes from the Bassa tribe in Liberia, and it means it is finished. It's usually given to the youngest child. And so I'm the youngest and the only girl. So my mom just loved the name, and she knew a woman that was her name. And my mom named her only daughter,
So you
and my
were
dad,
featured on
Naweh.
Channel 9's Great Day, Washington. Share about that.
Yes. So I tend to do this thing where I'll like ask for opportunities, which is really funny. Then I'll get really scared afterwards. So my voice teacher was like, girl, didn't you ask them to do this? So I throw darts. I just throw darts and I'm like, whichever one catches. So I was actually featured twice because one, I was a spotlight artist. I just reached out to them, submitted my information, and they interviewed me. And I got to talk about my music. They shared my music video. I got to also talk about my culture, growing up in the DMV area and like merging those two cultures. The second time, though, after I got like really, familiar with them, I was like, oh my gosh, creating opportunities for yourself, which is what I learned from my mentors. I said, February is coming. I wonder if they need somebody to sing the Black National Anthem on there. So I reached out to them. It was a complete stab in the dark. I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And they said, oh, yeah. They said, yeah, come into the studio and we'll have you sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. And I didn't expect them to say yes. So I was like, oh, wait. I was like, wait, y'all said yes? So, but that's how I am. I take opportunities and I just get prepared for them.
Yeah. So what makes you that risk breaker or that rule breaker? What in you is like makes you take those chances? Because a lot of people may be intimidated and a lot of people may be scared. And a part of that independent artist game is that you are in control. Like you have to, if you want something, you have to step up and ask for it. So is that something that you've learned along the way? Would talk about that.
I think for me, the fear of not making it is scarier than the fear of like making myself embarrassed. That's what drives me, like that fear of like, I want to do this so badly that I am just going to take the risk.
So that said, define your version of success.
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question. So I'll say this. For me, I am very much, well, so in my head, my music mentors in my head that are like, that don't know me are Will Smith and Beyonce.
Okay.
So I am delusional. Okay. And Will Smith talks about that. Like you have to be next to delusional to want to do the things that we want to do in music. So my version and definition of success for me is to be content and happy with wherever it is that I'm placed and whatever it is that I'm supposed to do it within my purpose. But
Yeah.
I go for the top. I'm going to shoot for everything that is high. I don't shoot. J. Cole said, you don't shoot for, what do you say? You shoot for the stars and like, hopefully you get somewhere there. Like, I don't shoot for low hanging fruit. I'm
Before I
going
let
for
you
the top.
go, this is a platform of inspiring people to believe in our infinite possibilities. I know you said that, and I also picked up on one of your posts that you love Will Smith.
Yes.
And you listen to all of his motivational messages. So could you share one with the audience that has been most impactful for you?
Oh my gosh, there's so much to pick. Can I say two of them?
See?
I have adored Will Smith since I was a child. Like legit, him and Beyonce, when I say they are my two favorite entertainers. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. So two things that he said that keeps me going. He talks about getting on the treadmill and he says, if me and this other person are on the treadmill, either two things are going to happen. Either that other person is going to get off or I'm going to die trying. And that's where that message of me saying, like, I'm not intimidated by anybody. I wish everybody well, but I'm going to get on this treadmill and I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going. So that's the one thing where I focus on my work ethic. I don't focus on, yes, you want to like have hair, makeup, this and that, lashes, all of that. But at the end of the day, there are many women with hair, makeup, lashes, and but talent is what's gonna get you to where it is that you need to be. More talented than me, you might also be prettier than me, you might have more money than me, but I'm going to outwork any and anybody that I see in a room. That is what I lean on. A second thing that he said, I read his book. If you haven't read his book, you really should. It's so inspiring.
Okay.
But he talks about his dad making him and his brother build a brick wall when he was like a kid, and he made them build this brick wall around like his store.
Mhm.
And he said he was so overwhelmed with how they were going to do this. He said, I don't know how we're going to build a brick wall. And he said finally he decided he was going to take one brick and lay it as perfectly as he could, just as precise as he could. And he said that's how he's operated in his career. He said you just build it brick by brick. If you look at the whole big picture, you're going to get overwhelmed, but you need to take it step by step. And that's you.
It takes the pressure off one day at a time.
Welcome to the Girl Get Up podcast, the podcast that inspires you, the listening audience, to go out and discover your infinite possibilities. You can catch the Girl Get Up podcast every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.